Hello and welcome back, and happy Equinox. I think it's today. I'm just going to talk about that a little bit more, and I've pulled another of my white light oracle cards to assist with the message today. And I'm also seeing in my mind's eye this kind of pendulum swing that's been swinging from one side to the other, gradually getting smaller, and today is coming into complete stillness to the point of balance in the centre. So from this place of balance, it's where we can springboard off and begin to move forward. And as I've spoken about in previous videos, I know how I've felt myself a little bit all over the place, a lot happening in the mind, overthinking, analysing, questioning, and just having quite strange feelings come up, but being able to observe them, knowing that it is just energy shifting through me, but it's just been a bit of a kind of a pause few weeks, a kind of not really moving forward in any way, just kind of a bit kind of still. And if that's also been your experience, then this is your invitation for today. And it is to really drop out of the mind and just come back into the heart space. And as we know, and as I've spoken about many times, the mind will always try to solve, control, predict, and come up with solutions, even in things that it can't possibly come up with solutions for. But the heart knows. It doesn't need to force or push. It really just responds. But it's just our responsibility to be able to start to really tune in with the energy of the heart and the subtle kind of impulses that you get there in order to receive its guidance. Because the heart will gently pull you in the direction that is now unfolding for you, that is right for you right now. And as I was reflecting on this morning, I decided to pull a card, and it was from the White Light Oracle deck, as I mentioned, and the card was called the Queen of the Nagas. I'm not sure if I've said that right, but it's Nagas, Nagas. And the message was, again, as always, so aligned with what's happening right now. And it spoke about a sacred task, a path that is revealed not through effort or logic, but through connection with the heart, which was really interesting as I was already feeling into this real knowing that it's time to fully trust and drop into the heart space. And something really stood out in the card was it was talking about the connection to water. And that also made me think about we're moving out of Pisces season, which is very water, emotion. We've got emotions individually, we've got emotions collectively, a lot of stuff happening emotionally. And that these energies are deeply linked to the waters of the earth. And as human beings, we are mostly water. So this means that we're incredibly sensitive to the emotional fields around us, the collective energy, what's happening on the planet, and what's happening with other people in our lives. We feel it, especially if we're empathic, which if you're listening to this, then you are going to be. So if in the past few weeks you've been feeling more emotional than usual, a bit unsettled, not really knowing why, or maybe it's like your internal waters have just been stirred a little bit. That's another thing that's coming into my mind, that kind of stirring up of the internal emotional energy. There's nothing wrong with you. You are responding to a collective shift, and you're responding to your own inner shift. And as we move through this equinox portal, we are being really supported to really cleanse those waters. So to clear the mind and drop out of the mind more into the heart space, but to also really soften the emotional body and to return that pendulum to that point of central balance and that point of inner coherence. And when we do that, we really come back into alignment with ourselves. We naturally enter a field of support that opens up for us. That is us on other levels, but people might talk about that as guides or spirit or whatever, but it's kind of like it feels supported, feels held. And we don't need to constantly guard our energy or pull our energy in to be safe anymore. When we're connected to the heart, and when you've done and are continuously doing that inner work, that landscaping of your own inner garden, you are naturally held because you are in your power from this space. And this intelligence, this subtle, loving, guiding force is already there working on your behalf. And it's just a case of surrendering and trusting into that knowing that you already know. So it's about taking a breath. And on the exhale, just imagine your awareness dropping from your head into your heart space. And doing this several times a day and just really tuning in and checking in with this peaceful, calm, central balance point within. It's always there for us, but we tend to forget when we get involved with the stories of the mind. Now, the mind will say, with anything that's kind of coming up in terms of moving forward, how is it going to work? What if it goes wrong again? What if I make the wrong decision? But the heart knows more, and the heart trusts. And just allow yourself to just surrender to the energy of the wisdom of the heart. Because right now, more than ever, we're all being asked to trust. With all the stuff that's happening, it's easy to get drawn in and involved. But if we drop into our heart space, there is a knowing that there are things unfolding behind the scenes. The knowing is that everything is working out. Everything is working out for you. Everything is working out for the collective. Everything is working out for the planet. We know this. It's a knowing. So the mind will give you all of the evidence to show that it's not the case. But there is, when we can really start to tune into the energy of the heart, a real absolute knowing that everything is okay. Everything is unfolding behind the scenes. There's things that you cannot yet see, but it's all unfolding in perfect timing. So you can just trust now that not everything needs to be understood, because that's mental energy in order for it to be aligned. There can be a deeper knowing as we drop into the heart that doesn't need understanding. It doesn't need logical working out. It just knows. And then we can trust the process. So that goes for what's happening in your own life, the next steps that you want to take. Maybe it's a passion project, maybe it's a new career, maybe it's a new relationship, whatever it is that you're really feeling excited and passionate to move forwards towards. You can now just allow yourself to surrender and trust that if you are aligned and in your heart space, that path will naturally unfold for you without you efforting, pushing, striving, or doing all of the mental activity around it. So we're really, really, really being asked now to really drop into the heart more and more and more. And something that I like to do is to several times a day just drop in and just check into that space, that really still, peaceful, calm, beautiful space within. No matter what is happening externally, that is like the eye of the storm, and you've got it there all the time, and you can just drop into it anytime. And then we don't move forward from the mind, we move forward from the heart, from that gentle, quiet knowing, that subtle pull forwards, and that feeling of expansion and excitement in the body. And as you follow that, you'll start to notice that there are synchronicities that start to happen. You might start seeing lots of repeating numbers. There might be people that just come across you might meet them in a coffee shop. There's lots of things that happen when you really drop into this coherent, balanced, still point. And the energies are really supporting this right now. And the things just begin to flow in a way that they didn't before, when we can just let go of the mental needing to control and just let go. Imagine you're on a river and you've been struggling with the oars of the canoe to pull you upstream. Now just imagine putting those oars in the canoe and just lying back and just letting that canoe guide you effortlessly along the river. There's nothing you need to do, nothing you need to force. You are now just surrendering and trusting and going with the flow and just moving with that river. And it's a really powerful river, and it's a really powerful time now to really start to manifest things that we really desire in our lives and for humanity. So if you take anything from this today, just let it be this, that you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to have a plan, a 5-year plan, a kind of business plan, all kind of tied up and put into timelines and all of that. You don't need to push, strive, or control the outcome. What you do need to do, though, is when you find yourself doing that, know that that's a cue to go, I'm in my mind. Come back to the heart space. Take a breath, drop in. Take a breath and then just clear the inner waters and come back to that pendulum point of balance in the center point in your chest. And then trust. Just really feel the energy of the body releasing tension and just flow. Because there is something of real value unfolding for you and unfolding for us right now, even if you can't fully see it yet. I want you to know, and I want to get across that you are fully supported, you are guided, and you are held in ways that you will not even realise. And it's a very different place for us to be, especially if you've been on this path for a long time. So there can be, I know within myself, some resistance to trusting this, but I also know, as I drop into the heart, there is a knowing that I'm held, I'm supported, and from this place, I know I can move forward, not with force, but with absolute flow. So I'd love to know how you're feeling today with the equinox energies. I'd love to know if you're feeling any shifts or if you're feeling any excitement to moving towards something. And I'd also love to know where you're tuning in from in the comments. So wishing you an absolutely beautiful equinox and a beautiful day, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for listening.